Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. I am Barbara. I am in the back of the house today. I always say this is where it all began. So thank you so much for stopping by. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. I hope that you will subscribe and become a part of this amazing community. And for those that follow me all the time, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm in the back of the house today. It's a lot to tackle. So if you're new here, the reason why I say this is where it all started is because this is where my gardening journey started, right in the back of my house with 4 raised beds that my husband and son built for me in April 2020. So just 3 years ago. And so I started my YouTube channel, I think last year? Yeah, or a year and a half ago. Maybe it'll be 2 years in August. Anyway, I started my YouTube channel just to walk people through my journey because I still consider myself a new gardener. And when I was starting out, I went to YouTube to learn a lot of stuff. And there were things that I couldn't find. I couldn't find someone who was just starting out like me. I found a lot of experienced people, which were great. But I had that feeling of, I want to find somebody who will just break it down in simple terms and guide me along the way. And I hope that I've created a channel that does just that. Now, obviously, the more information and the more knowledge that you have, sometimes you feel like you're breaking stuff down, but you're not. But I try to, as much as possible, to keep things simple and just share with you what I'm learning, what I'm doing that works, and what I do that don't works. And, you know, I push the envelope. I don't mind going against what the garden books say. I do it within a controlled environment, so to speak. But anyway, that's what this channel is all about. Obviously, during the summer, we do a lot of gardening content. And in the fall, we tend to be in the house, maybe 50-50, doing recipes, preserving, and all of that. So in my area, I'm in zone 7A. I'm in Tennessee. The weather, this is the second day with no rain. Hallelujah. I am glad about it. But when I turn this camera around and I show you what these raised beds look like, this is the evidence of a lot of rain every day for the last 3 weeks. And I have not been out here to tend to it because it's been raining a whole lot. And you guys have heard me say that as you've watched my videos over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I've done a lot of stuff in the high tunnel because I can be in there because it's covered and it's protected. So we have 5 raised beds now behind the house. That's where it all started. We have a high tunnel, and then we also have an in-ground growing space. So over time, we have expanded our growing footprint because I need more. I mean, that's every gardener's dream, right? So today, I am going to try to tackle the back of the house. And I say tackle because it looks good, but it looks wild, okay? So let me turn the camera around and show you what we got going on. So let me just let you see all the stuff like that right there, y'all. Good stuff. It's just all together, just like one big mass. So all of that bed right there is tomatoes. This is cucumbers, tomatoes and peppers. And then in there is a whole bunch of weeds and leeks. Okay, so in the back of the house, just to kind of catch you up, we planted garlic in here. We always do our garlic in the back of the house for the past couple of years. We did that in the fall, and we also did onions. So we harvested the garlic, we harvested the onions. I showed videos on both of that. You can certainly go back and check those out where we did that, and I'll try to remember to link them below. My son does my video editing most of the time now that he's out of school. And so because I'm not seeing the videos in the editing process, sometimes I forget to link. So forgive me. Charge my heart. I mean, don't charge my heart, charge my head. But in terms of what we have back here now, this is our second succession of tomatoes, right? So we have second succession of tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers back here. And we probably planted these probably about a month or so ago now. I always get my dates mixed up, but it's probably been at least, let's see, this is the end of July. So yeah, we probably planted them maybe mid-June, so they may be 6 weeks in, but we started them off as seedlings. And then we put them back here. And I'll tell you, y'all, matter of fact, these seedlings, a lot of these, I take that back, a lot of these are not second succession. it's the second planting. This first bed, and also I want to say half of the other bed, are actually tomatoes that I started seeds from the original starting seeds, you know, frenzy that we had, right? So they were actually started in like maybe March or so. We planted all the outside spaces and all the tunnel, and these were the ones that were left over, a lot of them. And so they looked almost root bound. They were looking scrawny when we put them in. I'll try to remember to link the video when we first planted these so you can see the size and how they looked. But to see them now, they look so vibrant and healthy. But the thing is, y'all, they need to be pruned, separated, all the things. And yeah, let's just turn around and let's just start somewhere. I'm not going to start with the one that looks like the biggest conglomeration and mess. Let's start with something a little bit more manageable so that we can feel like we did something. All right, let's do that. Okay, I'm going to start with this bed here, and I'm just going to try to start off with pruning, right? They look very, very healthy, which is great. I'm seeing yellow flowers, which is great. And I think a lot of these in this bed are cherries. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I see tomatoes in this other bed. OMG. Okay, let me show you this. Y'all, look, I have tomatoes back here. I didn't even know. Oh my goodness. Look at this, 3 right there. There's 4, 5, 6. Unbelievable. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get to pruning, y'all. Okay guys, it's not pretty, but I don't know if you can tell. You can actually see the ground and open space. And then here, you can definitely see open space. That's all my power. I pruned pretty heavily. It was a lot of suckers, big shoots. And look at that. Look at my basil. That was in the middle looking all good and stuff. You couldn't even see it, but it's there. So I got those 2 beds done. Now this bed is the cucumbers. It just needs to be trellis. You see my husband just put in the post to trellis. We're gonna put a trellis on either side. So I got some sunflowers growing in the back. There are 2 sunflowers. But this whole bed is cucumbers. You see I got a lot on that side and only a couple on this side. I have some more in the tunnel that I can put out here that I started as seeds, but I may not. We have plenty of cucumbers. Plenty. These are going to be a different kind than what's in the tunnel. So I'm excited to have these right here. And when the ones in the tunnel die, I may or may not resow. So this is the bed that is the worst. I saved the worst for last, outside of the other bed that has like leeks and stuff and weeds in it. So for this particular bed that's left, that's the worst, it is a blend of determinate and indeterminate tomatoes. So in case you haven't heard me explain this before, and in case you don't know, indeterminate tomatoes are tomatoes that grow to an indetermined height. They can get up to 8-9 feet tall, and they continuously set out tomatoes in bloom. So you harvest, they keep putting on blooms all throughout the summer season. So it's a undetermined height and an undetermined amount. So indeterminate. Determinate tomatoes are determined, or a set amount. So they usually are bush varieties. They don't get 8-9 feet tall, and they only put on one set of fruit and then they're done. They put on all their fruit at one time and then they're done. So that's what you call a determinate tomato. 90% of the tomatoes that I do are indeterminate. And if I had to guess, 90% of the ones that you do if you're growing in raised beds or outside in the ground are probably indeterminate. I'm not going to say that most varieties, I don't know that to be a fact, but most of the varieties that I like, that I see, are indeterminate, right? There are some determinate varieties that I'm growing out here, which is Roma, which is a paste tomato. That's a determinate variety. And then in my tunnel, I have, I think, one called Galahad that's brand new to me that I've done. And then I think one was called Bush Goliath. But there's not many determinate tomatoes. So here's the key. With determinate tomatoes, you don't necessarily prune, right? So there's some people who don't prune even their indeterminate tomatoes, and that's your personal, garden choice. I like to prune because to me, it's cleaner. It helps with more disease-free plants because you have airflow. And generally the rule of thumb is that the more you prune, you get less yield, but the tomato itself is bigger. Versus if you do not prune, the belief is that you get more tomatoes, but they're smaller. So you get more yield, but smaller tomatoes. When you prune, you get maybe less of a yield, but the tomatoes are bigger, right? Again, that's what they say, and it seems to be true in my experience. But nevertheless, for a determinate tomato, you don't typically prune those because it's only going to bloom and set fruit one time. So there's really no need to prune, and it doesn't get really high. So I say all that to say that that's a whole lot going on in this bed behind me. I think I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I know that in the middle I did determinate varieties because I knew those were going to be bush. But there may be some on the sides too. We're just going to get in here and see what we can do. We're going to try not to prune a determinate tomato. Let's see what we can manage. There's a lot to tackle, y'all. A lot to tackle. And also, I was going to tell you, as I was pruning these tomatoes, I think I saw some aphids, the same looking aphids that were on my plants in the tunnel. And I'm not surprised, just because I feel like this is a good environment that would invite that, right? It has been raining for 3 weeks, literally every day, like months, and since they've been extremely wet. They haven't been pruned. As you can see, they were all growing together. There was hardly any airflow. So I'm not 100% surprised. The plants itself look really good, but I saw that stuff on the underside. So I need to get my stuff and spray back here like really, really soon. And I would do that right now. But my fertilizer, my backpack sprayer, when I had it the other day and was spraying, somehow it got clogged up or something. So I got to get my husband to take a look at it. Anyway, let's see what we can do before it gets dark. Okay, y'all, now I'm in the tunnel. That bed was covered with, I guess it was aphids, all that stuff, the brown stuff on the underside of the leaves, it was covered. It was getting all over me. So I just came on down to the tunnel. I'm gonna have to see if I can get my husband to get my backpack sprayer going so that I can spray. I wonder how long they've been there. But the green, like the leaves and stuff look good, but that's how they started. And the next day I came out, they're like they were dead. So, I don't know. Anyway, I had to come get some reinforcement. So it's actually about to be dark. I have run out of time. It has been so hot. It's hot in my house. It's hot outside. It actually feels better outside than it does in my house. But it just drains you. So yeah, I didn't get out here when I wanted to. But anyway, the plan is for me to get my backpack sprayer going and to use the same stuff that I use in here, use out there, hopefully before it is too late. So anyway, that was a lot to tackle back there. I always call that, like, that's where I started, in the back of my house, but it's almost like it's the garden stepchild because I'm out there the least. I guess because the tunnel and the in-ground garden is way more spacious and a lot more for me to handle. So I always start off down here saying I'm going to end up down there, but by the time I get done down here, it's dark. Anyway, you know the story. But I'm glad that I at least got it started back there. And we just have that one bed to try to prune. We need to spray some insect, like some neem oil and some stuff to help with the aphids. And then we need to harvest that last bed that's full of leeks and the weeds. That's on the list. I don't know when it's going to get done, but my goal is hopefully this week. We will see. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for joining and stopping by today. If you like what you're seeing on my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. I also pop a couple of videos up here for you to see until the next upload. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.